Hi, and welcome back to Guys Outfits, the fashion podcast about guys who wear outfits almost every single day. Hey, how's it going, guys? Hey, guys. Today we got two best friends, and your guys' names are actually both Brad. I'm Brad Henderson, and I'm Brad Ham with two M's. Oh, yeah, you guys are both named Brad, and you guys have such similar styles too. Yeah. So what are you Brads wearing on top? Wearing a beige top, which is actually my favorite color. Okay, we love that. Yeah, and I went with an olive green top. Beige is actually my favorite color, but Brad is wearing beige today, so I decided to go with my second favorite color, which is olive green. Olive green, or the beige of greens, as they say. Oh, I'm actually obsessed with that. And what do we have going on the bottom, Brad? I've got beige shorts actually to go with my olive top. Gosh, I really love that beige olive combo. Yeah, me too. And you, Brad? I actually took a little page out of your book today and I went with a little pop of color. Oh, wow. Yes, Brad, we are really letting our freak flags fly today, aren't we? Yeah, so I went with royal blue gym shorts to go with my beige top. And why don't you tell us about your look today? Oh, well, as I mentioned before, I'm really letting my freak flag fly today, and I'm wearing a neon yellow-green top. I'm obsessed with it. Thank you. And on bottom, I'm wearing beige shorts. Yeah, I'm obsessed with the neon yellow-green beige combo you got going on. Yeah, I went with a beige short, similar to you, Brad, but it looks like your beige short has some fun pockets, and mine is more classic style. Yeah, Brad, what are you keeping in all those fun pockets? I just got a really long CVS receipt. I'm obsessed with it. TBTL.
I'm going to suggest that we have a little constructive talking time. Not long at all. I mean, maybe 10 minutes or, or maybe 15 is also good.
In 1971, Bill Gates invented Microsoft. Wouldn't it be cool if I could remember my dingus password for my email?
What comes before anything? What have we always said is the most important thing?
Breakfast.
Family.
Family, right.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the things you eat.
Why don't I tell you all about it over a hot, steaming mug of beer and a cup of cold corn?
Be careful, though. It's spicy.
All right, hello, good morning, and welcome everyone to a Tuesday edition of TBTL, the show that just might be too beautiful to live.
Oh, fabulous!
My name's Luke Burbank. I am your host.
Believe it or not, I'm a complete catch.
I'm back, baby. Coming to you, per usual, from the Madrona Hill studio, perched high above the mighty Columbia, where, by my count, we are at episode 4,630 in a collector series.
Let the fun begin.
And as we sort of enter the home stretch here, the final days, the waning days of 2025, we are going to go through the TBTL words of the year.
Sooner or later, gentlemen, you will eat your word.
Some words that were strongly associated with our program during 2025. We're going to talk about those, and we're going to talk to this guy. He's a real word generator here on the program. Of course, he is the longest-running Cobra of the show, maybe best known for his depictions of the tall ship.
I don't know who that is, and I don't care to find out.
He's Andrew Walsh, and he's joining me right now. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Luke. Did I hear an extraneous bell ding?
I wondered.
I
bumped my bell.
I usually keep you totally muted, and today, for some reason, I was like, I don't think we need to do that of all days, unless maybe you're always making noise like that, and that's why I got to keep you muted. Is that happening all the time, or like during the intro? Are you just like flailing about and hitting pots?
How
and
I get in the zone.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah,
it's your flow.
I imagine like Animal from the Muppets, but without the drum set, but with the same general physical movements.
I'm like Animal from the Muppets without the talent. Is what I'm
that's
like
right.
over here.
You know what it is we've got systems, and then we've got backup systems and redundancies around here at TBTL, and so I have my own mute button on my microphone, which, as you've pointed out to me, is about 90% effective.
Oh yeah, if you're really loud, like
so. For instance, let's do an experiment, okay?
Music, yeah.
So I'm going to mute my microphone here, which should be muting everything. Actually, that's not true. Not muting everything, but this should mute any talking that I would be doing and like the sound of this bell, right? Mm-hmm. But if I mute it, you've pointed out you can still barely hear me. There's still a little bit of my voice bleeding through. So here we go. This is me in full volume. And now this is me muted. When it gets loudly, it gets very loudly. Could you hear any of that?
I could hear it, but I want you to know that I cheated a tiny bit, which is
Why?
just because I could hear you. You said loudly, it gets very loudly.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I
You could
did
hear me.
turn up the volume a little bit on my
I
end,
see.
too.
Gotcha.
I cheated. You thought
Well,
I was reading
that's
your
not-
lips or something like that.
I thought you were turning me down more, but no. So you could hear.
Yes.
You could hear that.
And I wanted the listeners to hear it. And I know that you and I are here listening to the show in our closed headphones and in our quiet studio. So I'm guessing that probably most people, if they're on the bus or in a car or any place out in public with earbuds in, you might not have heard it, but I turned it up a little bit so that folks could sort of hear what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's. But when you told me one day, and this is, again, I appreciate this about you. You warned me one day. You were like, hey, I know you have a mute on your microphone.
Oh, for privacy, yeah.
Yeah, but you said, I think what happened was I was talking to my dad or something in here, and I had what I thought was the microphone muted, but you were like, just so you know, when that mic is muted, you can still kind of hear you a little bit. So just know that if you're ever having a very sensitive conversation and you think that you're operating in a cone of silence, it's a cone of mostly silence.
Which is actually how the cone of silence worked. I don't know if you recall. You know the origin of the term cone of silence, do you not?
I'm guessing that was from Get Smart.
It was from Get Smart, exactly. And the joke about the cone of silence was it never worked, right?
Oh, really?
I loved that show as a kid. I could not imagine anything funnier than Maxwell Smart and his fumbling tomfoolery.
I mean, to this day, the shoe phone.
Oh, it's so good. And he would always be like, sir, 99? Sir, he would talk to his chief. Did he call him chief? I can't remember. It's been a long, long time. And they would go into this conference room, and this is how I remember it. I'm probably getting some of these details wrong. And then what they would call the cone of silence would come dropping down over them, but it would make them sound louder, or they couldn't hear each other, but we could all hear what they were saying or something. The cone of silence was always a disaster in my memory.
I was so happy when Get Smart would come on because that was in the era where we certainly did not have cable TV. And I might have even been at Peter Williams's house for much of it, but like there was that channel. There was always the channel that was just playing old like 1950s type sitcoms and older shows. And there was a real range. Like I never really liked McHale's Navy.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that one. I didn't.
That was like that one came on. I was like, I don't know, but like I really and even Gilligan's Island, believe it or not, I think it was a little too silly for me.
Yeah, wasn't a big Gilligan's Island, and definitely not the POW one. I really disliked that one.
Hogan's Heroes.
Really
did not like Hogan's Heroes at all. And
sorry,
but man,
Phyllis. I think Phyllis is a fan.
Get Smart. I loved Get Smart. I was so happy when it came on because it was just so. And what I didn't even what I don't think I realized at the time was I was getting. Is it Don Adams?
It is Don Adams. Good pull. Yeah, and Barbara Feldon, I believe. I was
getting so much Don Adams in my life because by morning I might on a like summer weekday, by morning I might be watching Get Smart, and by afternoon I might be watching Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, or vice versa. Morning cartoons usually.
Same guy.
I would think, yeah.
Like, and I didn't even put that together, but I was getting a ton of Don Adams in my life for a while, and I enjoyed it.
And I don't think it's a coincidence either. He plays, a bumbling investigator in both of them. In fact, I've got a scene queued up here. I mean, the chance of this actually working as audio content is next to nil. But we do see Maxwell Smart talking to his boss, the chief. He seems to be in his chief's office. There's a lot of guns and various weaponry on the wall behind the boss. There's a third guy there too. They're all wearing like those gunmetal gray suits that federal agents would be wearing at the time.
Yes.
And I think they're about to go into the cone of silence. I pray this makes any sense.
Hodgkins, we can talk under the cone of silence.
The cone of silence?
Well, this is a magenta alert, isn't it?
The cone of silence.
He flips a switch. It comes dropping down from the ceiling. It's a big plastic thing.
I am deeply concerned about the conference room.
What?
I'm concerned about the conference room.
How's that?
He's concerned about the conference room.
That's the guy who's not in the cone of silence.
I want it thoroughly inspected for hidden devices, microphones, bombs.
What?
check for microphones and bombs.
So the joke is here, the guy who shouldn't be able to hear them is repeating what the chief is saying, and they can't hear each other in the cone of silence. And I believe it was a recurring bit. I think this came back a lot, and it was always a disaster.
You know, I wonder if that show holds up. Like, I wonder if it'd be kind of a fun watch, just kind of a fun brainless watch, even here in 2025.
I wonder that iconic opening. He's like walking through all the doors, and then one of them, I think one of them gets stuck. Right? It's kind of like it's a 0070. You know, we're just
was it da 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 da. Da-da-da-da-dun.
Yeah, let's hear. Get Smart theme song. We were right. You don't know this because we're not quite synced up to you, but on my end, we were harmonizing.
Love it.
Perfectly there. That actually gave me chills. We sounded so good together. Let's see here. Get Smart Season 1. So let's see. Oh, this might roll through a bunch of different themes. You know how they would change the music from year to year sometimes on these shows?
Oh, okay. I was wrong.
It's close. A little bit almost like from the era of Peter Gunn. It's not Peter Gunn,
yes, I was going to say it's Peter Gunn-esque. I was looking up who wrote it, thinking maybe it would have been, somebody, I don't know, Mancini or whoever wrote Peter Gunn,
Mancini,
but it was written by Irving Zathmary. Irving Zathmary.
Ooh, that's tough for a kid who had a lisp like me. I'm going to stay away from that.
Trying to see what else he might have written. One of 6 children of Hungarian ancestry. Let's see. We don't have to get bogged down in the career of Irving Zathmary.
Okay, today's list is top 5 songs.
Works from Irving Zathmary. Actually, what is today's list? Underappreciated
Zathmary joints. Okay, so this is actually a different kind of list that we're doing today. And I got to admit, I don't know if this is rude to say, I had sort of forgotten about this, but I got an email from listener Kristen, our friend Kristen there in Thunder Bay, Ontario.
Oh, sure.
And she wrote into us around this time last year without much explanation, just sort of saying, here's a list of words I wrote down, like words that you guys said that caught my ear. I don't know if Kristen specifically said that there were words that she was unfamiliar with. I don't want to assume that, but they might have been unfamiliar to her, or at least like they caught her ear as kind of
maybe
vocab
it was the perfect
words.
word in the moment. Maybe I used the perfect word.
She said that these were the handsomest words that Luke used. I will guess, based on our varying degrees of handle on language, that most of these words are probably going to come from you originally. But last year we went through her list as just sort of a look back at words we have used and trying to figure out, I think in some cases, the context with which we might have used them, or if you even like there are words on this list. So Kristen wrote again this year with another list of words that she wrote down. She said she's time banding, so this list only goes up to episode 4,583. What are we on now?
We're at 6:30 today.
Okay, so we're missing some here.
A couple of hundred episodes.
Okay, well, it's still a long enough list that I don't think we're going to get through the whole thing. So I was going to share some of these words with you. I was going to bounce around a little bit. I think maybe choose one here that catches my eye. And so, should we launch right into this now, or should we do it after thanking some donors? All right, well,
let's knock a couple out. Maybe thank some donors.
So I'm in this situation again where I don't have any specific music chosen. I'm just. Do we like this? There's a little bit of auto spackle.
Is this Irving Zathmary?
We're getting a little bit discordant there. Okay, that might. What about Blueprint for the Future? Oh, sure. You know, some people would choose their production elements before opening up their microphone. This is not working out. Here. Oh, this is vocab music. If I've ever heard vocab music before in my life.
Sophisticated.
Just go ahead.
Like our vocabulary.
Can I get you anything to drink, sir?
We do things a little differently around here. Have you dined with us before?
The first word on Kristen's list scares me.
Oh,
I don't think there's any way I've used this word before in my life, and I don't remember you using it. And I'm scared of even saying it because I'm probably going to mispronounce it. And in doing so, say something inappropriate, because it just looks like one of those words that's on the edge if I mispronounce it. Kakistocracy? I know I'm saying that wrong.
It's
Cacastrocity? No, that's not right.
I think you got it right the first time.
Maybe. I think I might need to have the internet pronounce it for me, and we'll have to interrupt this music for a moment, which is really going to bum all the diners out.
Let me look it up here. I can play it from here.
Okay. Oh yeah. What do you got there? Let's get back to the. Go ahead, Sam. You can continue playing. Cacistocracy. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cacistocracy. I just couldn't get my mouth around that word. So what does it mean, and do you remember using it? Because how did this come up if neither one of us know this word?
I do remember. I don't remember the exact context, but I remember it came up, but not because either of us knew the word, but because we either read the word or saw the word and then looked it up. And it is it's a government that is run by the worst, least qualified, or most unscrupulous people. It's
but why would that have come up in 2025?
Cacistocracy.
That's what doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, everything is perfect, and only the best people are running things.
Sure. Let's move on, actually.
Cocky. K-A-K-I. Also, is that like related to like caca, like poop?
Oh, I don't. Where are you getting that from?
Cacistocracy.
Oh, caca.
Yeah, caca.
Maybe I will. Yeah. What are the origins of the word?
I'm trying to find out.
Let's see here. Where does it come from? I'm not finding any good answers. It was used in 17th century.
Mm-hmm. Well, if I just write K-I-K-I, I get a Japanese persimmon, so I don't know.
Okay, let's see here.
Anyway,
okay. No, from let's see here. Worst, the Greek was kakistos, which means worst, and kratos, which means government. And so it's like government worst people combination there. Now, this next word I should know well. This is a word that you say a lot, and I'm thinking that I know how to say it as long as I'm not messing up the C.
Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
That is the
Do you remember that from being a kid?
No.
That was supposed to be the longest word or something?
No, I don't remember that.
I remember that, the rumor was like, oh, do you know the longest word in the English language? It's anti-disestablishmentarianism.
No. Of course, it's now been beat by the name of that lake.
Lake Chargongabongong, Boonga Bonga Boonga Bangarang Bang Bagong.
Wait, hold on one second here. The cigarette girl is here. Yes, I'll take a couple of Camel unfilters.
Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
That's an impressive word.
Opposition to the disestablishment of the Church of England.
Oh, specifically.
Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
People ask, is anti-disestablishmentarianism still the longest word?
Oh, as they used to
It's famous as one of the longest English words, meaning opposition to the ending the Church of England status, but it's not the absolute longest. Do you want to know the longest word, Andrew?
Yes, please.
Pneumano-ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis.
You didn't let me guess. That's what I was going to guess, Lou.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
It's an invented long word. So here's the thing. It's an invented long word said to mean a lung disease caused by inhaling very fine ash and sand dust. But I don't like that it's
Pneumano-ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis.
I don't like this an invented long word. I feel like somebody was trying to just get the record there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess all words are invented in some way or another.
But
they
this feels like
naturally.
AstroTurf to get to the law. Like anti-disestablishmentarianism was just their way of trying to describe a certain worldview.
Yes.
And it just got too long. The other one feels like they were like, okay, but we can go even longer.
We can beat that, and that's not.
No.
I don't like the spirit of that, to be honest.
Not at all.
This next word, I was starting to set this up, and I think if I get the C right, I can pronounce it correctly. And it is a word you use a lot, but now that I'm facing it down here in the harsh daylight, I don't know that I can give you a definition for it. Alacrity?
Oh, alacrity.
This is a word you use, right?
I always think of alacrity as to move with speed, to move with alacrity.
Are you double
alacrity?
Okay, we got
brisk and cheerful readiness.
Okay, you must have used that though.
Yeah, like she accepted the invitation with alacrity.
Alacrity.
Okay.
Yeah.
This next one, I know this one, and I wouldn't be surprised if I use it because I use it a lot. Triptych. I used to make triptychs a lot in photography. That's like usually 3 photos next to each. It's like if you take 3 photos that kind of are apart and you maybe frame them all together. Or I used to do it digitally when I was posting things. A triptych. It's 3 photographs.
Triptych.
I think I only learned that like probably 5-10 years ago about some piece of art that, as it was being described as a triptych. I don't think I knew that was that was a thing. I was very lucky when I went out on that boat in Miami, speaking of art, out to go do that like snorkeling thing around that underwater art project. It just so happened that the guy who had made the art that was underwater had been at the Venice Biennale in 2001, and I had been to that Venice Biennale. And so I was reading up on his CV, and so I went and looked at all the art there. So I didn't specifically remember his piece, but I could say to him with confidence, hey, I saw your work at the Biennale in 2001. And he was like, oh my gosh, wow.
Oh, wow.
So we really bonded. That was right before he scuba dived down to see his art and then came back up and then spent the rest of the trip vomiting violently off the side of the boat.
That's right. You mentioned that. Do you know what it's called when there's two photos? If a triptych is three, do you know what two is?
A bitic?
A
Triptych.
Diptych, I believe.
Diptych. Wait, now that's
Dip.
But
I think I'm right. Tell me if I'm right about that. Is a dip? Can you look up diptych? I don't even know how you'd spell it, to be honest with you.
Well, the funny part is, okay, it's a word.
Diptych.
There you go.
A painting, especially an altarpiece, on two hinged wooden panels, which may be closed like a book. So there you go.
So yeah, I think we used to use that. Did triptych? Did you look that up? I always use it as photography, but I wonder if triptych actually has its origins in some sort of folding up painting system as well, like they said.
Yeah, I got the sense that triptych just goes, that it's three of anything that's being presented as an art. I mean, it could be paintings of different people, but you take it as all three of the images are part of the same presentation, the same piece of art. That would be called a triptych. See, diptych. Well, first of all, there's a candle called diptyque, which is very fancy. I have one, but I still I'm too cheap to actually use it. It's like a nice scented candle, but it's like they're so expensive that I keep just instead lighting my like cheap candles I get at Safeway or something. And it's spelled almost the same, but it's diptyque. I would think though, I guess die could mean two. I think of bi as being the root. The root letters for when you're bisecting something, cutting it into. I would think it would be bitic, but
diptych.
It's diptych. You're
when
right.
I take one photo and I show it, I call it a unitic.
Yes,
just like
a one
did
tick.
Did you like that?
A one tick pony.
That's the show title.
Yes.
I say to Genevieve, did you like my unitic on Instagram? All right, I'm writing down one tick pony. Sorry for the delay here. I got to switch over to another tab now. And okay, this is interesting. This is not how Kristen usually does this, but apparently there were a bunch of words all in episode 4,381. What do you think that show was? TBTL 4,381. If I look that up, that
was about
is
300 episodes ago.
The episode is called Mr. Steal Your Soup. I remember that. I was teasing you about something when you walked in. I just remember making you laugh. You walked into the Alaska Lounge, and everybody said, "Here comes Mr. Steal Your Soup." Luke finally explains why he is in a knockout, drag-out fight with his favorite airline. He and Andrew also listened in on a 1971 phone conversation between Bob Dylan and the man who has spent decades harassing him. Okay, this was not that long ago. This was in... Oh, yes, it was. It was in January. Boy, doesn't this... It feels like this conversation was just yesterday, Luke. Sometimes I'm blown away. So out of that episode, here are a bunch of words. Ecrete? That sounds like... Is that a special kind of concrete that you're using in your house?
I think maybe... How is that spelled?
Well... Interestingly, Kristen put a SP question mark. So she was
I
just
think
listening.
maybe what she heard me say was accrete.
Accrete. Oh, what is that?
Accrete is for things to sort of come together and become fused.
Oh, okay.
So this idea, accretion is things becoming basically stuck together and hardened over time, and that can have a lot of different kind of you could say that the thought around this certain political philosophy has accreted over the years in the minds of people on the left, or it could also be physically something has accreted.
Accrete.
That's how I think of accrete.
Accrete.
To grow
by accumulation or Oh, sorry, you've got it.
No, yeah, I was just going to say to grow by accumulation or coalescence. So that reminds me of you often use the analogy of a snowball rolling downhill. It sort of sounds like that's almost like a kind of accretion.
Yeah, although accretion, I think of it as being more like almost like more solid. Like accretion, accrete and ossify are like neighbors in my mind.
Okay.
Whereas ossify is just to harden and become kind of more brittle and kind of baked and sort of like, to ossify is to just become less flexible and more hardened. To accrete is for a lot of smaller things to combine into one solid thing over time. In my mind, I could be wrong about that. That's how I tend to use this.
Since we're just doing this, and,
Yes.
and by the way, if this isn't working
Accrete.
as podcasting, I just want everybody to send their complaints directly to Kristen, not to us.
Yeah.
But just joking. Thank you, Kristen. But how is ossify different than calcify then? Because I always use calcify to describe what you were just talking about.
They probably mean the same thing.
Yeah,
honestly.
maybe they're just the same thing. Like
let's
calcify,
see,
maybe with more of a calcium root or something.
Let's see what we get from ossify first.
Ossify.
Yeah, to turn into bone or bony tissue, to become rigid or fixed in attitude or position, to cease developing. That's ossify. And then let's see what, I bet you calcify is like almost in, calcify is
Calcify.
to harden by deposition or conversion into calcium carbonate or another insoluble calcium compound. These elements would calcify as rock.
I don't think you heard this the same way on your end because of the slight delay, but you and I hit that the exact same time. There just sounded like there was a tiny, tiny echo.
I love it.
Listeners, go back, hit the back 15-second button and listen to that again. Did you hear how it sort of sounded like maybe she was saying that in a big empty cave? That's because Luke and I hit that at the exact same time. So basically, ossify and calcify, you can use them interchangeably.
That's my sense. I like ossify sounds fancier, sounds more highfalutin, so that's probably why I'm going with that, per usual.
How do you feel about, so these are all from the same show, by the way, Accrete.
Wow, I was on a hit.
Cosseted.
I was on one.
No, none
Cosseted.
of that other stuff, but Accrete was one, and then Cosseted.
Sure.
How do
Cosseted.
you use Cosseted?
To me, cosseted, the way I would use it is someone who's being handled with kid gloves, like someone who's being really like Joffrey in whatever that show is.
Game of Thrones. A little bit like sheltered to a dangerous...
and like overly taken care of and being cosseted.
Okay.
And usually, in my mind, not in a good way. Like you wouldn't say like, oh, I was cosseting that baby chick because it fell out of the nest and it needed help. It's more like it's a bad thing. It's like, oh, they're cosseting Trump by only telling him good news about the economy. He's being
Cosseted.
He's being cosseted, cared for and protected in an overindulgent way or pampered. The cosseted daughter of an upper-class New England family is what the internet's saying.
Cosseted.
So what is a cosset flop then? Solicitous, that also is probably
That
a word
one,
you use. That means,
man.
can I take a stab at that, which is going to
Please.
be wrong? I'll tell you right now, I'm pretty sure this is going to be wrong, but when I think of someone being solicitous, I think of them as being, I think this is wrong, but it's almost like thirsty, sort of like they're acting in a way where they want a reaction out of somebody, but being solicitous. But I know that I'm not right about that. What have you got?
Solicitous.
I'm nervous that one popped up because I feel like I don't really know exactly how you use solicitous. So if I used it, there's a limited chance that I used it correctly. Characterized by or showing interest or concern. She was always solicitous about the welfare of her students.
Solicitous.
To me, solicitous sounds like a bad thing.
It does. That's why
Like
I thought
you're
it
being
was
solicitous
like,
in this.
Like you're being a little like somehow you're being solicitous for your own ends is how I assumed.
Well, the archaic version of this, according to the internet, is eager or anxious to do something. He was solicitous to cultivate her mama's good opinion. Sentence took a turn.
Yeah, that is a strange. What a modern. They're like in the ancient.
He was solicitous to tap that ass.
Ya mama.
Your mama. That was weird. But anyway, I have always thought of, when I've heard solicitous, I've assumed that it's kind of like you're being, I think, you know what, it sounds a little bit like obsequious to me.
Yeah, that's what I think I was doing there. Obsequious with my thirstiness. Yeah.
And obsequious is definitely not a good thing.
Obsequious.
No, and I know that doesn't mean thirsty. That means you're kissing up, you're sucking up a little bit, you're brown nosing.
Obedient or attentive to an excessive or servile degree.
Obsequious.
There is going to be a quiz. We should quiz the listeners at the end of this. We should have made worksheets.
Honestly, like I feel like we're, this is vocab time. Of course, this was always the only part of school that I liked or cared about. So maybe this is just to my interest, but like I would literally listen to a podcast, and I'm sure there are many, where they're just taking a big unwieldy word that I've heard a few times but not been 100% clear on, and then just playing how it's pronounced and what it means.
Yeah, but
like,
not from
I
their
actually
own,
like that content.
But not from their own
knowledge,
education or knowledge, but just like, hey, let's look up some words. Now, these next three, I could see either one of us saying. I know that I say them a lot. In fact, this is still from that same episode, by the way, 4381. The second one I'm about to read, I know I've been using way too much recently. I hear myself saying and it rings out like a bell. But before we get to that, let's start with this, disincentivize. I feel like you and I both talk about disincentivizing in some manner. That's a word that I can't think of there are a lot of words where sometimes I can't think of the right word because I'm thinking of some big word like that, and there must be an easier way to say it.
Disincentivize.
But I can't get there. But disincentivize it's the opposite of incentivize. It's just like you're giving somebody a reason not to do something, right?
Yeah, it's an easy one because you got that dis there.
Yeah.
You've got a word that we know, which is incentivize, and then you've got the very obvious what sort of anti to that, disincentivize. Yeah, I think that's a crutch for me as well, or at least a word that I go to a lot when I'm just saying like, what's making me not want to do that? It's disincentivizing me, but it also sounds smart. So it's fun to that's a lethal combination for me.
Yes,
something that is both easy but sounds smart. That's my real wheelhouse.
That's why they use that word in the National Football League.
Disincentivize.
Just people who like to say things in a more difficult way. But it is, I can't think, like disincentivize. That would, I would like to disincentivize him from using that language in the future. What's an easier way of saying that? I would like to persuade him not to. I would try to dissuade, maybe dissuade.
Dissuade is the easier. Okay, although disincentivize has I guess dissuade and disincentivize are probably almost interchangeable.
Similar.
I guess
one sounds more like you're persuading.
Disincentivize has a certain almost like economic kind of feeling to it, like it's a financial disincentive.
Yeah, like
that's
it's
where I think
literal, like there's something more
there's
concrete.
A cost.
Yes, exactly.
And it's been expanded out now to just mean anything that makes you not want to do something. But I think of its origins, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I think of it as being kind of like there's essentially like a financial drag on this thing, which is a disincentive for doing it.
Yes, as opposed to an incentive. So this next one is the one I was saying that I use way, way, way too much recently, which is pernicious. I don't know how that got into my water supply, but I think of pernicious as being
pernicious.
Just basically, bad, basically,
Who do they have
right?
saying pernicious for this thing?
Pernicious.
A child.
Is that a baby? Do they hire a baby to say pernicious?
It's a little pernicious baby. I think of pernicious as being just basically widely bad, honestly. Like, am I right about that? Like, this is a pernicious sentiment.
Absolutely. Having a harmful effect, especially in a gradual or subtle way.
Pernicious.
And the other one here on the list,
you never hear anything with Isius in the name that's good.
No.
You hear Isius, run.
Yes, Isius. Now, is he the one who flew too close to the sun?
Yes, he did.
I'm very familiar with that story.
Yes, on a hang glider.
The last one from this particular episode was one that I do feel like I use a lot, but maybe we both use it, reticent. Which means like you're hesitating to jump in to do something.
Reticent.
I'm reticent to take that boat trip if I'm going to be puking over the side. Am I right?
Now, this is interesting. Not revealing one's thoughts or feelings readily.
Oh, I use it, and I use it incorrectly.
Well, I use it the same way you do. Reticent to me just means hesitant. Probably when I'm saying reticent, I should be saying hesitant. Right?
Yes, I think so. So reticent is more like, you're playing with poker with somebody.
You're
but
being a little secretive.
He's tough to play against because he's reticent. Or is
yeah,
that a poker
so
face,
I do
maybe?
think that, sometimes what I'll do is I'll just say, when I want to say this word, what's the actual word I should be saying? And like fix it that way. Like I was talking to my mom the other day. My mom loves to use facetious when she means sarcastic.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, I'm being facetious.
Yeah.
I was like, Mom, anytime you want to use facetious, just say sarcastic. Because when you're saying facetious, you're trying to say sarcastic. Because facetious, I looked this up the other day. The definition of it is more you're being humorous about a very serious topic. That is to be facetious.
Oh, I don't think I knew that.
You're not dealing with a very serious topic with the seriousness that it probably deserves or usually gets. That's to be facetious.
Did you know that? Well, you knew when your mom was saying that there was some disconnect there. I think I've always used facetious as just like anything that means like,
facetious.
I'm joking. Oh, I'm just being facetious.
treating well, actually, this is the thing. You are facetious a lot. I mean this really because it's treating serious issues with deliberately inappropriate humor or being
do that.
flippant. That is something we both do, but I think you do it especially. So you are facetious many times. My mom's always just using it to mean A, I was joking, or B, I was being sarcastic.
Yeah,
but it has a more
yeah.
specific meaning.
Like my blog about 9/11 jokes.
Right, that's sarcastic. See, I was just being facetious.
As was I.
Facetious.
This next one, I don't know how long we've been going. I know we got to kind of keep things tight today. But I did want to bring up this one because it's funny to see this on the list because this is a long time sort of joke or reference between Genevieve and I. It's quadrangle. And this is I always only think of quadrangle as it is used on like a college campus, the quad, right? You always hear that all the time. Oh yeah, well I'll meet you on the quad. Well, I think that stands for quadrangle, but I never knew that before.
Quadrangle.
And I hope this doesn't come off in the wrong way, but the first time I ever heard that phrase was when Genevieve worked at Northeastern University, and I think I have this right. I think it was Northeastern, not Dartmouth. She worked for some university where there was a spot on campus that was called, I want to say, the Krensman Quadrangle. And I had never heard the word quadrangle before. And Genevieve was just like talking, and in passing, it was a Krensman Quadrangle. I was like, you are at the what now? And then she's like, the quadrangle. And that's just a combination of those two K sounds. We can probably look that up if it's Dartmouth or Northeastern, or if I even have that right. But I forever, I was just like, oh yeah, it just trips off the tongue. Meet me at the Krensman Quadrangle.
Yeah. Oh, everyone's going to the Krens Quad.
Oh yeah, sure, right? You didn't go to the Krens Quad?
You know, it's funny. I don't think I ever, because I went to a university, University of Washington, that has a quad, and everyone talks about, oh yeah, the the cherry trees are in blossom or in bloom in the quad. I don't think I ever knew that it was quadrangle. I don't know. I guess I just thought it was quad because there's four, and it was just shorthand.
Yeah, why
never occurred to me that it was that there was wrangle was part of it.
Well, I think maybe this was my original point. We can find out. So the quad, first of all, the University of Washington, that's different than Red Square. Because I was going to say, why is a quad different than a square if it's a four-sided? I guess maybe it's not a perfect square.
So Red Square is that big, huge brick area that's between a number of buildings. I think not strictly four. Like you've got Kane Hall, you've got Odegaard Library. You got Suzzalo Library. Andrew, you're dealing with a person who worked at the University of Washington Visitor Information
Center.
That's
right, yes.
But the quad, what we always called the quad was that kind of grassy area with the cherry trees that is literally a quadrangle.
Yes, but I mean they're both squares. That's what because it's a full
quadrangle. I guess what I'm trying to say is I think Red Square is a little misleading. I don't think it's actually a square.
It's not actually a square, but I'm just saying, like, why are we calling quadrangles squares other than maybe trying to sound fancy?
Right. Well, I wonder what else. Again, I think that the issue, particular to the University of Washington, is that Red Square is not a square. So they shouldn't call it Red Square. They should call it Red Brick Area.
That's what I'm going to call it.
Meet me at Red Brick Area.
That's what I'm going to call it going forward. But yeah, and it does say quadrangle. Now, I understand that not all four-sided shapes are squares, but it does say that in architecture, usually a quadrangle is a rectangle or a square. But, and I was, by the way, more points to me, Krensman Quadrangle is Northeastern, I believe, here. So according to this Northeastern University wiki.
Wasn't that another Joseph Heller book, Krensman Quadrangle? Was it a follow-up to Catch-22?
That's my understanding.
I think it's some points for pulling a Joseph Heller. Not an obscure writer, but I'm amazed that my brain... Is that his name? Oh,
yeah, it's Joseph Heller. I can guarantee that. Yep.
Thank you, baby.
All right, let's thank some of our daily donors. These folks are donating to TBTL, and you know, it's. I was going to try to draw some analogy between supporting an institution of higher learning, like the University of Washington, or something. But today, I think we've satisfied that sort of standard. I think we were a podcast of some amount of learning today.
Everybody is leaving
certainly
the show
more than normal,
a little bit smarter and a little bit more bored than they came in.
Just like real college.
Exactly.
Thanks to Sarah Farley of Spokane, Washington.
Thank you, Sarah.
Have you noticed the the legacy of Chris Farley or the Farley family that's very present in the television landscape, the television commercial landscape?
No.
So Chris Farley has two brothers who both themselves were kind of comedic performers, although I get the feeling that I don't know if they were doing it before Chris Farley or at the same time, but at some point after Chris Farley had passed, you'd see them booked in a lot of things, I think because the people wanted a Chris Farley type.
Uh-huh.
But there was no longer a Chris Farley, and also he would have been too expensive because he was famous from his movies and SNL. But all these Amazon commercials now that involve this one, she's, I think, maybe a college student or somebody who's, in young adulthood, but she comes home and her dad's on the treadmill, and he's being real embarrassing on the treadmill that's now in her childhood bedroom. And then there's another commercial where she and her new boyfriend are sitting around, and the boyfriend has gotten the dad something, and he can't tell if the dad likes it or not.
I've seen that one, yes.
He's about to buy a different thing, but he doesn't because the dad likes it.
Yes,
That's
yes.
Chris Farley's brother.
The dad is Chris Farley's brother.
Dad is Chris Farley's brother.
Next time I haven't seen the first one you described, but I definitely have seen the second one. I'll keep an eye out for that. Of course, now that Christmas is past us and gift giving is over, I wonder if that'll
mercifully
go away. But yeah.
And anyway, Becky Day is in Aberdeen, Washington.
Hey, thank you, Becky.
Thanks, Becky. Hope you're. Aberdeen is a place that gives where I live a run for its money in terms of the weather being a bit gray.
Yeah,
this
sure.
time of year, a bit wet. Grays Harbor County lives up to the name, so I hope you're doing well down there, Becky. Jessica Doppler's in Dunkirk, New York.
You want to talk about names that evoke weather? We got Doppler here.
That's right.
Doppler is also the name of the Seattle Storm's mascot.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's really
now,
cool.
Wait,
yeah.
So Doppler, I know the Doppler radar is a thing, but isn't Doppler also the name for the phenomenon of when like a train is coming towards you and the sound of the train changes?
Oh,
based
are
on
they
its
related?
relative.
And are they related?
Isn't that called the Doppler effect?
I bet you're right. I don't
Same
think I was
guy?
thinking that, but I totally am on board with what you're saying. On board, like a train.
The Doppler effect is the change in frequency and wavelength of waves when the source and observer are moving relative to each other, causing a higher frequency as they approach and a lower frequency as they move apart.
And is that the same sort of scientific concept that's behind Doppler radar?
What a coincidence if they weren't, right?
I would think so. Kristen, can you add this to your list for next year?
That's all we're asking. I mean, the donations are great, but also a little bit of clarity on the Doppler effect would also help. I mean, it is kind of your name, although slightly different spelling.
Yeah.
Thanks also to Andrew L. Soth out there in Madison, Wisconsin.
Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate. We got to stick together, Andrew.
Love Madison. Carla Beck is in Kent, Washington, another place that we love.
Indeedly do.
And then Andrew Walsh.
This
guy.
This
Are you
guy.
kidding me? Are you mean this guy? Steve Nelson.
Oh, you don't even have the Steve Nelson.
I didn't have it at the ready. Steve Nelson. This is almost as good.
Yeah, no,
Our old boss, Steve Nelson, Steve L. Ropo Nelson, who hired us at American Public Media, ran interference from probably his bosses and anyone else who listened to the show there, and now has moved on to other major media projects, is still out there in St. Paul, Minnesota, donating to this little thing all these years later, Andrew, and that is just an absolutely incredible thing. Thanks, Steve.
Yes,
we really appreciate you, dude.
There are not a lot of people in my life that I can say, like, if I didn't know that person, if we didn't interact, if we didn't have the experience we had, that my life would be significantly different. And I feel like my life would be significantly different if I had never known Steve Nelson.
Do you want to know my prediction? I don't think we'd have a show.
You don't think we would have gotten to 8 p.m.? You
No.
think that if we had remained independent, but not independent as we are now, because we're pretty, I mean, not to brag, but we have a pretty professional organization going on. It's
We
the
do,
three
thanks
of us.
mostly to John Squaw.
Yeah, exactly.
and
But
to
like,
you.
you know, like we're official. But back in the day when you were running it independently and paying me, but I had another job and you were juggling a bunch of jobs, it probably wouldn't have survived without like kind of getting sort of tempered in the APM style, sort of. Maybe.
Yeah, because basically, without
system.
without getting into the weeds or whatever, like where we were at before APM was you were doing this I think, well, you would know, but it's like you were receiving some money to do it, but certainly not an amount you could live on. So it couldn't have been your real job. And I know certainly that there were many, many times, particularly when you had your other really challenging job in LA, where it was like, you know, pretty tough to also carve out an hour to come be part of this every single day. And it was not for the money. And then, but there wasn't the show because we didn't have a John Sklaroff. It hadn't been set up from a fundraising model to where it was really something that could be both of our jobs, like full-time, you know, decent paying jobs that we could just do and have that be where our income came from. It was kind of more in between. And then when we went to APM because they hired us, then we both had real jobs there and benefits. And then over time, there was a lot of, you know, for all the, I guess, side eye that I give some of the experiences we had over there, there was a much more legitimate, rigorous, and what's the word? I don't know. All of the donation processes accreted into something that was actually like, you know, successful and worked. And we learned about things like sending out emails around the fundraiser and, you know, trying to encourage people to become monthly donors. Just all this like fundraising strategy that was applied to the show. So that then when we finally went out on our own again, we had John Sklaroff, and now we're running so much better of an operation than we were when it was you and me and you were in LA. And if we wouldn't have had that bridging event of APM, I just don't think the show would be around.
And and this is going to sound really, really self-serving, but I do think that it's true, is it also shifted the dynamic of my role on the show significantly, which I think even like that plays into the fundraising thing, but also I think that's what the difference was. When I was doing TBTL with you both here when I still lived in Seattle, but I was doing a night show on Cairo Radio at the time. When we started, I was producing your and Dave Ross's show on the radio, but TBTL was always a side gig for me, but literally my only responsibility would be to get into a studio with you and you would turn on my mic. You recorded it, you posted it, you
Isn't
named
that
it.
hilarious?
You did everything. And I just sat there, you know, and I laughed and I spoofed, you know, and that was it. But then once this became our job, then I became the producer of the show. You used to call me Producer Andrew, but that's because my background was in producing. I didn't actually produce TBTL. I guess I did that weekend thing. But anyway, I'm getting into too much detail. But really the huge change was suddenly my days were free. And so we were coming up with ideas. I mean, that is what brought us Dream Court. We never talked about our dreams in an official segment on TBTL, and that is the APM legacy, and that is Steve Nelson's legacy.
You want to talk about that might have been one of the largest improvements in the show, was you taking the reins of all things audio, like not just in file management, not just in the fact that you very meticulously and assiduously keep all of the records and keep all of the source files for the shows organized very well, but like just the audio quality, you just do so much processing to the show afterwards. It's like, that's a big, big thing. And the fact that it makes it on the internet successfully, it never has us talking about something unrelated before the show starts, which is something I did once.
That happened once, though. I mean, it's not like you'd had a huge record of that.
But I just mean, it's so much. It's just, it's hilarious to think that at one time, the audio quality of the show was my response. I mean, that's so long ago now that it's a hilarious thought. It's like, I can't think of a good analogy, but it's like, you know, I don't know. You're so much better at that than I am, both in just talent and also in like just determination and kind of sense of personal work ethic, that that's a massive, massive improvement for the show too.
And so that got us started with us in our kind of current roles, so that then, you know, spending the time there and then moving on and going independent. And, you know, and maybe this is just a moment to say, as we are truly, and not to get corny, but as we are truly and sincerely thanking our donors for bringing us here.
Yeah,
we've gone through a lot of phases, and I do think that, you know, like, and again, I know we always get a little bit nervous using words like being proud of our work, but certainly maybe less shame in the words of Bart Simpson about what we do here. And it is literally only because of listeners supporting us throughout the APM days and post and beforehand too. I know
it is funny too. We have some friends who have spun off some of their APM stuff, and that they're doing their show independent, which we're rooting for them. But when I was in Arizona a while ago talking to Nora, of course, we were because her show was on APM too. And it was just so funny because without giving too much detail on people's business, let me put it this way, Andrew. some of the other shows that have left APM, there's been a certain amount of negotiation around what's called the
Yes.
intellectual property, who can say what, who can call their show what,
Yeah.
what the, there's been like APM, let's just say, saying, well, this was developed maybe while you worked with us, and so therefore we own some of the, and I'll tell you what they had no interest in, trying to deprive us of TBTL.
Yeah, well, luckily that did exist before we brought
Yes.
you created TBTL and we brought it to APM, so that
Yes,
is a
that
huge
helped.
difference there.
And we did have some kind of a contract, although, I think I found the contract somewhere, but it was just funny because it was the second time that TBTL had departed somewhere. Now, the first time was Cairo because they fired us. This time was us leaving. But no one's ever said, oh God, you're taking TBTL away from us.
right.
It's never been the reaction from any of the management types.
Yeah,
and yet
that's a
here
good
we
point.
are. And I would say stronger than ever. Like, we have a pretty good system going. I'm always pleasantly surprised that the donations continue to occur. John is just amazing at what he does,
Yep.
handling all of the various TBTL events or TBTL things, TBT things. So, yeah, here we are. I'm feeling good here on this Tuesday. Okay, we'll see how I feel tomorrow. So it could be a totally... I might come in
Wednesdays are
here
tough
dragging.
on you. Wednesdays are tough,
They're tough.
on you.
Yeah. I've started calling them hump day.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I'm going to blue sky that out later. How about this hump day? And then I'm going to block you if you say anything about it.
Anybody know what day that? Hey, wasn't that a Camel's joke from a Geico commercial? All right, let's get out of here.
All right, thanks, everybody. We're going to be back here tomorrow with more Imaginary Radio. In the meantime, have a great Tuesday. Take care of yourselves. And please remember, no mountain too tall.
And good luck to all.
Power out.